Hi, I'm Isabella Rossellini, and I'm on a mission to explore the serious role beauty plays in things we take seriously. This is not a beauty podcast. It is a business podcast. It is a health podcast. It's a tech podcast. And today, it's a relationship podcast, brought to you by L'Oréal Groupe. We often measure our lives not only in milestones, birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, but also in our relationships. Your best friend braiding your hair at a sleepover, your hand guided by your father as he teaches you how to shave, or maybe your groomsman handing you cologne before you walk down the aisle. Who is with us as we encounter life's events and obstacles, from big to small ones? In this episode, we are introducing a new subject, relationships, and the hidden role beauty plays in them. In our first story, we'll travel to Hamburg, New York, to hear from barber Jason Lape, as our producer Gigi explains.
Hamburg is a small town in Erie County, New York, a good 6-hour drive northwest of the admittedly much more famous New York City. You probably haven't heard of it, although legend says it is the birthplace of the hamburger invented in 1885. But what it should be known for, really, is its tight-knit community.
How's it going? Good, how you doing?
Caitlin?
Hey.
That's Caitlin. She's a local producer based in Buffalo.
So walked in the shop immediately, so cute, so sweet. Everyone was already chatting, and you could just tell everyone liked each other, right? And there's a very good vibe. Puzzles going on right at the main table, waiting table. And there were a couple times where people walked by and were like, "Hey, Jay." And I was like, oh, this man is really doing the community thing.
This man is Jason Lape.
People call me Jay. In 2022, I opened my first barbershop that was on the other side of this wall. It's just a small little space. And so it was a completely blank canvas.
And Jay has a lot of interests.
I got really big into bodybuilding in my late 20s, early 30s. Raked a 3-mile path through the woods, and I would run that multiple times. Turned into what's called an accelerated freefall program. It's to teach you how to become a skydiver. And then it turned into the mountaineering thing.
And now, after training in 36 different barbershops in 19 different states, he's finally found his calling as a barber.
What would you say the favorite part of your job is?
I think that if you want to be a life barber, if you want to be a career barber, you have to have some sort of an investment into your community, into people. And I think that it morphed for me, and it's less about, the craft of barbering, and it's more about my people at this point. We see people for every milestone, so that's the first thing that people think about when they're getting ready for an event is, make sure you get a fresh haircut. So if someone is a regular customer, I'm there for every single milestone in their life, and sometimes, a wedding or a child, sometimes a death in the family. So you become pretty close to people.
And speaking of being there for the big moments,
Oh, it's your wedding? Man,
That's the best, man.
Cosmo and Brad, Jay's staff, couldn't agree more.
You're the local person. I think the just community is it's the core of what a barbershop is. I've got some regulars that are here every 2 weeks, and you're like, hey, how was that vacation? How things go with the wedding you went to? You just start to build that connection.
Being here in this environment with people is super cool. It's a good place for people to come and hang out. We like to be a linchpin, a community meeting space. Men especially need more maybe emotional validation. So just having conversations with people is awesome, and being that's cool. Let's talk about it,
I think if you're not a people person, this is going to eventually just turn into you grooming human beings, and it's going to lose its charm, So I think you have to really throw yourself into being that, I don't want to say a therapist, but oftentimes someone sits in your chair and that's how they view it, they've got an unbiased opinion with someone that they can talk to. Some people don't have anyone to talk to.
And that's something Jay learned early on from a veteran barber.
He had this real deep baritone voice, and when he would talk, everyone would shut up and they would just listen to this guy. He says, listen, you got 2 hands. He says, one hand is to shave their face and cut their hair, and the other hand is to lift them up when they need someone to help them out of the ditch. And it always just stuck with me. I've been doing this for a long time, and rather than talking about, how to do a fade or how to do this, This guy is telling me that the most important part of this job is your community.
And that's something Jay sees as being particularly important for, well, men.
I think self-care is something that has been exclusively for women, and has just recently in the last several years really exploded. People recognize that going to a barbershop, doing anything that's self-care, it is a fantastic outlet of stress, and I have people that come in and I can just sense the stress leaving them by the time we're done with the haircut. I try not to have serious conversations in the barbershop. I try to have it real lighthearted. We've got reggae music playing on in the shop right now. So I'm really big into self-care, and not even just for the sake of how you look, but it's the one thing that a guy can do where we don't have a whole lot of those opportunities to go elsewhere to like unwind a little bit, And I think some guys are, I don't know what the reason is, but maybe too embarrassed to go get a massage or something like that, or guys, most of them are not going to go get a facial or anything like that. So this is the one arena where a man can come in, feel pampered a little bit, leave feeling a little bit better.
When I walked in, you had a guy, you were steaming his face, and he had like a full like ski mask on. Is that part of like a haircut, or is that a separate service?
So when I do a beard service, I've had steamers fabricated that they fit right on my chairs. And so when I lean someone back for a shave, I put a hot towel on their face. They get like lotion rubbed into their face. And then I've got this steamer that blows hot steam on them the entire time we're shaving them. And it creates that luxurious, pampering kind of a vibe. Guys love it. I think people don't realize how much guys actually love being pampered.
Would you see a barbershop almost like a third space, or just like a place to go and, like you said, hang out?
The culture that I've created here is, I like that old-timey barbershop vibe where people just used to go to hang out. We've got a beer fridge in here. We've got, lounge areas. So we like people to be able to just come in here when they're not getting a haircut. It's kind of become like a community hub. We've had gatherings here, fight night and stuff like that. Oftentimes people will come into the shop just to crack a beer before they're going out into the town. And that's the culture that I like.
But for some clients, it goes much deeper than that. And just a heads up, you're about to hear a story that discusses suicide.
I had a customer, his name was Evan Granville, and he dealt with CTE, so he had chronic migraines and things like that. And he was just like a every 3-week kind of a guy. I would see him like clockwork every 3 weeks. We'd catch up on his life. I would ask him about his mental health. I knew he was kind of going through some stuff, And the last time that I cut his hair, I could just tell the guy was in a mood. I didn't want to pry. It's not my business to pry into people, but, I just thought if he wanted to talk about it, he would, but at some point it was just the elephant in the room, like we're usually real chatty, and this time around he was just real somber and quiet. And, at some point I just asked the guy, I said, "You're having a hard day today, aren't you?" And he's like, he breaks down crying. He was going through something, and I didn't ask about it. And I kind of wish I did at this point, but, I'm not going to beat myself up about that. But so anyway, he goes to leave, and like a quintessential, hurting person, they're always worried about other hurting people, and so he would ask me at the end of every haircut, he's like, "How are you doing, man?" And I'm like, "I'm doing good, man, like, don't worry about me," and he's like, "How's your back doing?" Because I have a bad back. And he's like, "I'm gonna run home, I'm gonna grab you a bath bomb, and there are these CBD bath bombs, they're gonna love them, they're gonna help you out." I'm like, "Well, you don't have to go home, bring it back next time you get a haircut." And he's like, "No, I got to go home. I got to get it today and I'll bring it back." So he goes home, he brings me this bath bomb. And we had this like very real moment where, he shook my hand, he looked me right in the eyes, and he said, "I just want to let you know that like, I really enjoy my visits to the barbershop." He's like, "I never get out of the house." He's like, "This is really the only time that I get out of the house and socialize with people." He's like, "I always leave feeling a lot better than when I came in. And, I just want to thank you for being a good friend." And, I'm just like, "Well, thank you, man. Appreciate your friendship, and I didn't think anything of it." And he leaves, and the next day, his father-in-law comes into the barbershop and tells me that he completed suicide the day that I cut his hair. And it was shortly after I cut his hair too, so it is a pretty big blow, still is.
So, in honor of Evan, Jay decided to host a 24-hour haircut marathon at his shop.
I had a goal of $5,000. I didn't know how realistic that would be. And it was actually more than 24 hours. We worked from 5:30 in the morning until 7:30 the next morning. I did 33 back-to-back haircuts. And we ended up raising just shy of $12,000. So we donated that towards the Prevention of Suicide Coalition of Erie County. Crisis Service was also involved.
And at the end of the day, for Jay, it's always been about bringing people back together again.
So when you go into a restaurant or anything like that, you'll notice that the tide has turned and people are not socializing the way that they used to. And in an old-timey barbershop, it was the culture where you would go in, you'd read a newspaper, you'd catch up with the boys, there'd be some, good banter going on. I like the idea of having a space where people get to know each other.
It's a fascinating thing, barbershops, because I go to salon, I don't go to barbershops. But it's a place where men come together to listen to music, to laugh, to share stories. And, like in the case of Jay, they can act as a safe place to go when one is struggling. They're such an important social hub for men around the globe and for women too. I don't go to a particular salon because working as a model and as an actress, I work on sets and often my hair are cut for that role or that other role, and for 2 or 3 months I have that specific hair color or that specific haircut. And yet, even in films, the chair of the makeup artist and the hair person is where we find our comfort, our moment that it is not just professional, remember your lines, act, but we find a human contact and a relationship between an actor and makeup artist and hair person is very intimate. Not because we have to look beautiful, but just because they help also create the character. They help you with your concentration because that's what you do first thing in the morning and then you go to do the film. Salons and barbershops have been the staple of community since ancient times. I'm Roman. The Caracalla's bath. That's where they went, our ancestors. So for our next story, we will travel to North London, where our producer Eva meets with a remarkable stylist and expert braider, Marie-Josée, who tells her story.
My name is Marie-Josée Ampuya Yonda. You at the Josie Professional Braiding Studio in Finsbury Park. I love braiding. I love hair. I love beauty. I like seeing people coming here looking a bit low, but then by the time they leave here, they even forget their wigs and their hats and the scarf they're wearing on their heads because I make their hair beautiful. But by the time they leave, they can't put the mirror down on their telephones. So I love beauty.
Gorgeous. And it's so beautifully lit in here. I love the flowers. How long have you had the studio?
I had this studio almost 30 years. I came to London in August 1987. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. We had persecution in Congo. So I flew. I found somewhere that I can be secure and somewhere that religion was free for everyone.
When did you learn how to braid?
Since infancy, being from Africa, we didn't really have toys as such. So we used to fabricate our own toys. Sometimes we can just get from grass and you make your own dolly in a funny way. I was lucky that my yard had a lot of grass. So I used to sit on the grass and just do braids on the grass. Our animals had hair as well. I used to play with the animals' hair, the dog's hair. So I just loved using my hands. And me being a mother of 4, no English, I can't find a job. I said, let me use my fingers, let me use my hands. So that's what really motivated me.
So tell me about the people who come here. Who are your customers? Who are your clients?
Everybody. It's everybody. It's like international. Boys, girls, black, white, any nationality from everywhere. I've worked with different people, but at the moment I'm training 2, so I've got 3 working with me. We were friends before. And then we became like a family, and I trained them from scratch. And when they got it, I employ them. I want everyone to be happy because your workplace is where you spend most of your time. And braiding is tiring. If you're not happy, you can't really achieve what the customers are asking. So I keep that happy ambience and yeah.
How long does a client normally spend with you when they come in here? How long does it take to braid someone's hair?
It depends. Between 30 minutes to 7 hours. It depends on the look they're going for. Sometimes they want the braids very small, very long. So, and some will just come for one braid. Some will come for just two. So it really depending on the jobs they want. Depending on the service.
So you came here as a refugee. Have you met other people who came to London or to the salon in the same way?
I have met loads, many others who came as refugees as well. Some Saturdays I'll just cook, I'll buy drinks, and then I will invite people here to come eat and dance. I'll just put all my scissors away, my products away. Sometimes I take them home just to turn it into a dancing place for free. Because as Congolese being a French speaking, it wasn't easy for us. And I know some, they've been here for more than 20 years, still they can't speak English. So it's not easy. I just use my space here like a little community because this salon is really known and I'm like one of the big sister in the community because we were the first one to kind of arrive in England. Now there's thousands. So because it's not French speaking, refugees were avoiding to come here because of the language barrier. But I do look after the people, let's say. I feel proud that I've been able to help. I came here. The British government supported me. At least I'm giving back a little bit in that sense.
Is there something about the work that you do here, spending 7 hours with somebody and so intimately close to them? Do you feel like there's something about running a salon that is good for building community?
I will call myself a therapist. Some of the things they tell me, sometimes we cry together. I've got so many secrets from the customers that you can't believe it. So they open up because you're touching their head. For some reason, I don't know why, they will start talking openly. And they're giving me a name, they call me Salon Jose Mampuya everywhere. So even when I go to the country, they recognize me. So the musicians, the Congolese musicians, when they're singing, they call the salon name. So in many Congolese songs, you will hear Salon Jose Mampuya.
What have been some sort of favorite clients you've worked with or projects that you've done?
Yeah, my favorite moment, the first one was when I had a job in Panwood Studio with a film called Jurassic Park. So I was part of it. So one of the actresses was the Wonder Wise. So I was the hairstylist and I saw all the big actors and so yeah, it was beautiful. And also I made the wig for Alphabet that my daughter have made. It took us 2 days, but we had to work non-stop, day and night. When I get tired, one of my daughter would take it, and one of my staff, maybe they will take it. So the wig will just go around. Sometimes my niece here will take it. It has to look after the baby. So it was a non-stop process. Day and night, this wig was being made because the film was ASAP. She has to do the role in 2 days. It was a big boom. And my grandkid came to me, "Oh, Grandma, you're famous now." I said, "What are you saying? I'm not famous." I was like, okay, just an example that I'm showing you that you can look after yourself, have a better life than having income support and stuff like that.
How do you feel about it now?
I feel proud that I've done something big, because I think it's big. Is it big?
Absolutely huge, yeah.
Yeah. So I've done something huge. So now I'm waiting to do Beyonce's hair, Rihanna's hair, and all these big people, because I know I can do it. There's nothing that I can't do. In terms of braids or wigs or makeup, we can do it and good, first class.
You've mentioned your daughter's working with you and your niece helping a bit and things. Is it a bit of a family business now?
Kind of, because I'm getting older now. I'm over 60. I'm getting tired. So I'm training them because I don't want this company to die with me. I want to leave it behind because people always do their hair. And braids really is good. It's really has developed. It's not like in the olden days when it just used to be a second hairstyle. But today it's like kind of a main hairstyle for our tight afro hair. Because our hair is coarse And even for any race anywhere, how beautiful do they look when they do hair? Black, white, whoever, they look so beautiful because it's a kind of a free facelift. When you do your hair, your face, even if you had wrinkles, they will all go. It's just beautiful.
And it seems like there's lots of demand, like you found the right niche in the market.
Yes, I did. Because when I came, if I'm not wrong, I think I'm the first braiding salon. There were salons where they were doing braids, but I opened only for braids. I wasn't doing chemical, no relaxing hair. All I did was braids.
So what's next for the studio?
I want to create a little academy where I can teach the younger generation. I want to go to prisons as well, teaching girls who want to learn braids, because when they're there, they're more relaxed. They got barbering in prisons, but I wonder if they might have hairdressing, or do they have braids? So that's something I want to do, going to the prisons to help girls and boys who want to learn.
It seems like everything you do, you're thinking of your community as you do it. Is that true?
I'm thinking of everyone. I want to look after everyone. Yeah.
Like Marie-José, I also grew up in Europe, mostly in Italy and France, and then moved at 18 when I was in America. And I completely sympathize about how difficult it is to integrate, learn fluently a foreign language. That's the key to integrate. I was very lonely as I was integrating in America. But of course, I stayed because there was a lot of work and it was good for my career. But I remember the loneliness. Marie-José, open a place in New York, please. In our next story, we are exploring line dancing. You know line dancing, the folk dance in the south of United States where group get together and dance repeated step in a line, and the leader calls out something that I never know what they say, but it's fun to dance. I know that might seem niche, but line dancing has really exploded. There is something about folk dancing that really brings people together. In Italy, for example, we have tarantella, a folk dance named after the tarantula spider. The tarantella can be danced very clean, politely, nice, but it can also be quite wild. In fact, some people think that the tarantella history comes from the Greek god Dionysius. That was the god of wine, insanity, and madness. And people went crazy at this party to then contrast sanity with insanity. Well, in Italy, we have a fantastic artist called Beppe Barra that does the tarantella in the wildest way. To explore why line dancing has exploded on the global stage, our producer Gigi takes us to Australia to speak to one group in particular.
My name's Kitty. I live in Yarraville in Melbourne, and I'm a line dance instructor. Never thought I'd say that.
And I'm Lou, Kitty's partner. We both live together and work together 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Oh my God, you must have a great relationship to be able to do that. I don't think I could do that. So tell me a little bit about Disco Rodeo Boot Scooting, which is where we found you both. What is it?
Some say it's a cult.
It's a bit cultish.
It's a bit culty, not on purpose.
It sort of started during lockdown. We were bored out of our minds and going a bit stir crazy, and Kitty suggested learning a line dance off YouTube.
Well, I have to say why there.
Yeah.
Because Lou hates when I say this, but she was a ballet dancer and quite a good ballet dancer. She danced at sort of a state level. She's cringing as I speak. And I never did any dance really, and always found it impressing and slightly intimidating. And I used to do queer line dancing, and I was like, I bet we can find one on YouTube. And so we did.
And then it just escalated from there, really. We learnt some, we filmed ourselves and put them up on Instagram because we needed some attention because it was lockdown and we only had each other. A few friends were like, could you teach us a few of these? And it went on from there.
I love that. What does the club look like today, the cult?
We run 4 weekly classes. So we have 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Friday, 1 on Sunday, just across Melbourne. And then we also get hired for regular birthdays, hens parties, festivals.
We're really lucky. We are full regularly. Most of the classes, that's around about 100 people-ish, depending on the venue.
First step, your left foot's forward.
and it's just a romp. Like, it's so much fun.
Yeah. The dancing is one part of it, but I think there's a really nice community that we've built, and I think everyone comes for the social aspect just as much as the dancing.
Can you tell me, if somebody is listening to this podcast and they have no idea what we're talking about with line dancing, how would you describe it to them?
Oh, that's a good question. So line dancing or boot scooting, you're dancing in a line, basically. You're dancing in unison. Everyone's doing the same steps.
And you're all facing the same way.
All facing the same way, that's right.
So there's no partnering. When we're teaching, we've got our backs to our boot scooters because they're following along, which I think that in itself gets good because it means that no one's feeling like they're being watched by anyone, not even us. That allows for people to feel a bit more comfortable about coming along.
I'll also say I'm not sure if this is sacrilege to other line dancers, but we're not super strict about the lines. So everyone is facing in the same direction, but our lines are so wiggly, it's hilarious. Like, we just let the crowd sort itself out.
I guess most line dancers will start facing one wall and they'll face all four walls in a dance. The dances that we do are about 16 to 32 counts. So
we do short.
They're quite
short
and they just repeat. So each time you turn to face another wall, you repeat the same thing. So it's a very accessible level of dance. We have complete newbies every week that have never danced in their life.
You're both calling out these steps, right? You're sort of standing at the front or on a stage and you're leading. How does that feel?
I'm just in it for the attention and the costumes, as I like to say. Lose the dancer. That's definitely a rush.
I think it's still daunting for both of us to get up and talking to a crowd. We're 40 and almost 44. Like, it's an odd age to be starting this career of like putting yourself in front of a big crowd of some younger and some older people.
And we lean heavily on social media too, just to keep people informed. And that is part of it as well. Like, it is definitely weird to pivot to such a public-facing career at the very point where your body is starting to change and age and in some ways let you down in these ways that really make you face your mortality. But at the same time, your mind is like the best it's ever been. You're like the most competent you've ever been and the most experienced you've ever been. I mean, I can't speak for Lou, but I feel like I sort of started to feel comfortable with myself only just in recent years. So it's a funny balance. Like, your body starts to sort of dip, but that self-confidence, I think, is there.
I think also what I love about your group in particular is that I was looking through the Instagram and it is so kitsch as well, which is just the best, right? It's not only sort of feeling more comfortable with self as you're older, but also kind of creating spaces where people can kind of come and wear like glittery eyeshadow and just sort of dance to, I mean, I'm dying to go to one of your hoedowns. Well, tell me, what's the music like? What does it sound like?
Very gay, very.
It's pretty.
It's like a lot of.
It's poppy.
Yeah.
We do a lot. We obviously do a lot of country.
Yeah.
But we are not purists, and we will whip out a cracking pop tune in a heartbeat. I feel like song choice is really important because you're bringing people along with you. So you want a song that is going to let them do that.
We have such a broad age range. Like, if we choose cheesy pop hits, it's got to be something that everyone can get on board. But I think the music also allows for that creativity. People do put a lot of effort into like their clothes, their makeup, especially for hoedowns. Like, they really get on board with the theme.
And they really do get on board. Just check out their Instagram. Glittery eyeshadow, big hairstyles, bold red lipstick. But what actually is a hoedown?
A hoedown is kind of like a ball in that it's an opportunity to like do the dances that we've learnt in the classes but out in the wild, basically. It's like 500 people who have learnt the dances. They mostly know it. And you just do it in a hall with other people. You have some drinks and it's a social night. Yeah, it's a bit less structured. It's more of a massive party, basically. Massive boot scooting, line dancing party.
We had a Coyote Ugly themed hoedown a few months back.
That was great. There was so much pleather.
Quite a few, a lot of pleather and a lot of Leanne rhymes.
That's right.
Were you always interested in that, just personally, just sort of getting kind of dolled up?
It's a bit funny because I've always been, I think, quite a classic dresser and just a typical Melburnian. But for the international audience, there's a running joke about Melburnians only wearing black. And it's real. It's funny that you mentioned the kitsch factor because I've often thought in my head, oh God, don't be so kitsch, like just calm down, you know? And for me personally, I always felt like I was fighting that urge and always sort of trying to wrangle myself in that respect and that kind of kitschness and that fun and that colour. So it's just been really nice to be able to live it, really. Like, I love it.
And you as well, Lou? Is it new for you?
I'm from Brisbane, which is maybe a bit more colour, a bit more pattern, and my wardrobe became quite subdued when I moved to Melbourne. And I think that is part of the fun of boot scooting, is getting dressed up, and putting on something different allows you to like have a bit more confidence when you're up there teaching in front of everyone, and it is half the fun.
That's so cool. Would you be able to describe your favorite look you've worn to a hoedown, from like the hair to the makeup to the clothing? What was your best look?
Our recent winter hoedown, the theme was Cowboys and Angels. I actually plucked that from a George Michael song because I am such a diehard fan of that man. We just had little denim shorts and like tank tops or something. And of course, it's always cowboy boots for us. That's all we wear, really. But I made these biker jacket, but they were completely bedazzled. They were black, but they had these golden sparkles all through them and this massive motif on the back. Each of us, I actually put this into AI. It was just something dumb, the prompt, like Sistine Chapel cherub in cowboy boots reclining or something like that. I ended up with these hilarious, not quite right, but beautiful, like classical paintings of these cherubs in cowboy boots floating on clouds. And it was great. I just had them printed out and we cut them out and I just sort of glued them onto the back of the jacket and then just built the entire rest of the design around them. I can't deny I'm quite proud of those jackets.
They are incredible.
Well, I love how we started off this talk by you saying that, you're a bit shy in front of a crowd.
Yeah. We probably don't come across as shy.
No, probably not. But we get nervous. We both get nervous.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about the community that you've built around it. You said that there's a big age range. What's the age range and what's the vibe of the people that are coming?
I always get a bit speechless when we're asked about them. We're so lucky. They're so fabulous and so supportive. The community has blown my mind.
I was going to say one of our youngest scooters is 16, but actually one of our regulars, her son came on Sunday and he's 8. But it's probably more like about 20 to 70. We seem to attract just the sort of people that are open to doing something as silly as boot scooting on a Wednesday, Friday, Sunday night.
What do you think that these people get out of coming to line dancing, and specifically your group?
I think some of our boot scooters have stressful, serious jobs in government or whatever, but then they just come and do a ridiculous boot scoot to 5, 6, 7, 8 by steps, and they all leave a lot happier. They just seem to really love it.
They do. I've got a theory. Dancing in unison is one of those things, like singing in a group, where it's just one of those activities that for some reason we have just evolved to do. Like, it sets off all those good hormones, like all those good chemicals. It's quite transcendental, dancing in a group like that. And a stomp isn't just a stomp when there's like 120 of you doing it. It's an indescribable experience at that point.
How does it feel to see a huge group of people doing your steps?
Yeah, I really struggled because I'm like, it's just boot scooting though. It's only 16 counts. But it does take finding the balance. Like, I was never great at it when I danced back in the day. Choreography was just not my thing. But it's something that I really enjoy it. I love choosing the song and like finding those little moments that, you put in classic line dancing steps and then you throw in one that you've just made up, your own little flourish. Ballet is pretty rigid. It's like all about creating perfect lines, and there's none of that in boot scooting. It's so loose. We've now got this space where people that previously danced can enjoy what they used to love about dance without all the pressure. It's very rewarding. I do feel pretty proud, and seeing other groups that are in different states learning our choreography and teaching their class, it's pretty cute.
Beauty is often something we do for ourselves in a quiet moment to make ourselves feel good. But it can also be deeply intertwined with our personal relationships. After all, getting ready for a party with friends is often more fun than the party itself, isn't it? Thank you to our guests Jason Lape, Marie-Josée, Kitty and Lou for speaking with us. Our theme music is by Jim Brumberg and Ben Landsbeck of Wonderly. If you enjoyed our podcast, please subscribe now in your favorite podcast platform so that you don't miss out in any of the new episodes. And if you don't mind, rating and reviewing so that other listeners could find us. And if you haven't listened yet, the back catalog from season 1 is also available. Next, we will be exploring the unexpected ways in which beauty has impacted technology. I'm Isabella Rossellini, and thank you for listening to This Is Not a Beauty Podcast, brought to you by L'Oréal Groupe.